The caiman was dead in under 1 second. Not from strangulation, not from blood loss, not from drowning. The jaguar bit through the back of its skull. The canine teeth penetrated the cranial vault and disrupted the brainstem. Central nervous system function ceased within the first second of contact. The prey had 80 kilograms of body mass, armored scales, and a jaw capable of generating over 1,000 pounds per square inch. None of that was relevant, because the attack was not aimed at the body. It was aimed at the one anatomical structure that controls everything else. The hardware, not the armor. Most big cats on Earth kill by throat bite, a prolonged suffocation that can take 5 to 15 minutes. Welcome to Survival Amazon. The jaguar, Panthera onca, does not use that method. It evolved a completely different killing system, one that is faster, more efficient, and more dangerous than any other felid hunting technique on Earth. Subscribe to our channel, because what the jaguar developed in the Amazon is not simply a more powerful bite. It is a different theory of killing entirely. And if you are ever in the Amazon, you need to understand that theory before you go near the waterline. The question this episode answers is not how strong the jaguar's bite is. The question is why the jaguar evolved to skip the throat entirely. And the answer changes how you understand every other predator in this jungle. The standard killing method of large felids is well documented. Lions, leopards, cougars, tigers. The majority of big cat species use the same fundamental technique. The predator secures the throat of the prey animal, applies sustained compressive force, and occludes either the trachea or the carotid arteries. Prey death follows from either oxygen deprivation to the brain or circulatory failure. The technique is reliable. It works across a wide range of prey sizes. But it has a significant operational cost: time. A 200-kilogram lion holding a wildebeest's throat must maintain the grip for up to 10 minutes, while the prey's 250-kilogram body continues to thrash. During those 10 minutes, the predator is exposed, stationary, and vulnerable to injury from hooves, horns, and the prey's collapsing weight. This is an accepted cost in open savanna environments where throat bite kills have been optimized over millions of years. The Amazon is not an open savanna. The Amazon is a dense, structurally complex, three-dimensional environment where sustained ground-level struggle carries different risks. A jaguar pinning a 60-kilogram caiman at the riverbank for 10 minutes is not in a controlled position. The caiman's tail, its rolling torque, and its access to the water edge all remain active during a prolonged throat hold. Furthermore, the jaguar hunts prey that other big cats do not: caimans, turtles, and armored prey whose throat regions are either heavily reinforced, bony, or inaccessible. The standard throat bite technique is mechanically impossible on a basking caiman with its neck pressed to the ground. The Amazon posed a specific engineering problem. Panthera onca produced a specific engineering solution. The first indication that the jaguar operates on a different biological theory is visible in the skull. The jaguar skull is anatomically distinct from every other large felid in several measurable ways. The zygomatic arches, the bony flanges on the sides of the skull that anchor the temporalis muscles, are significantly broader relative to skull length than in lions, leopards, or tigers. This broader arch creates a larger attachment area for the temporalis muscle, the primary jaw-closing muscle in all felids. A larger temporalis muscle attachment area means a larger, thicker temporalis muscle. A larger temporalis muscle means greater contractile force applied to the lower jaw. This is the first structural indicator that the jaguar's skull was not designed for sustained grip. It was designed for maximum instantaneous force. The second structural indicator is the canine tooth geometry. In most big cats, the canine teeth are long, slender and laterally compressed, optimized for penetrating between vertebrae in a precise killing bite. The jaguar's canines are shorter relative to skull size than in lions or tigers, but they are substantially thicker in cross-section. This thicker geometry reduces the risk of fracture under extreme transverse loading. A slender canine can generate high penetration force along its long axis, but will fracture if the load is applied from the side, as happens when biting through a domed surface like a skull or a turtle shell. The jaguar's thick, robust canine is designed to withstand the non-axial forces generated when the tooth contacts and deforms a curved, hard surface. It is a structural trade-off: less penetration elegance, significantly more fracture resistance. The result is a canine that can punch through bone without breaking. These two anatomical features, the broad zygomatic arch and the robust canine, point toward a specific hypothesis. The jaguar's jaw was not optimized for holding prey alive for a prolonged period. It was optimized for generating maximum force at a single point over a very short time window. The question is where that force is targeted, and the answer was identified through analysis of jaguar prey remains in the wild. Researchers examining jaguar kill sites documented a consistent pattern. Skull perforations from canine teeth. 2 holes, bilaterally symmetric, penetrating the dorsal cranial vault. In caiman kills, the perforations passed through the osteoderms, the bony plates embedded in the skin, and into the cranial cavity. In turtle kills, the perforations passed through the shell itself. The jaguar was not attempting to suffocate these animals. It was bypassing the body entirely and targeting the central processing unit. The bite force of Panthera onca has been measured and modeled through multiple studies using CT-derived skull geometry and finite element analysis. The consensus estimate for a large jaguar, approximately 1,500 pounds per square inch at the canine tip. This is the highest bite force relative to body size of any extant big cat species. A lion generates approximately 650 pounds per square inch. A tiger, approximately 1,000 pounds per square inch. The jaguar's 1,500 pounds per square inch is not generated by being larger. It is generated by the architectural advantage of the broader zygomatic arch and the proportionally larger temporalis muscle volume. The jaguar produces more force from a smaller body because the skull is better engineered for force generation. At 1,500 pounds per square inch, the contact area of the canine tip is approximately 30 to 50 square millimeters. This concentrates the full force into an extremely small area. The resulting pressure at the contact point is sufficient to overcome the compressive strength of cortical bone, the dense outer layer of a mammalian skull. Cortical bone has a compressive strength of approximately 150 to 200 megapascals. The jaguar's bite force, concentrated at the canine tip, exceeds this threshold. The bone does not bend. It does not compress. It fractures locally at the point of maximum stress. The canine tip drives through the fracture into the space below. In a caiman skull, below the fractured bone is the brainstem. The brainstem is the biological interface between the brain and every motor and autonomic system in the body. Disruption of the brainstem produces immediate and total cessation of voluntary motor function. There is no recovery phase. There is no processing delay. The signal from every muscle in the body stops simultaneously. The prey does not struggle after a successful brainstem disruption. It cannot. The jaguar has effectively performed a biological off-switch operation on the prey's entire nervous system. In clinical neurology, this is called a devastating brainstem injury. Panthera onca has been delivering devastating brainstem injuries to its prey in the Amazon for approximately 2 million years. Without surgical tools, without anesthesia, without the 30 minutes that a lion requires for the same outcome. In under 1 second, The jaguar does not simply walk up to prey and apply maximum bite force. The system requires precise positioning before the bite can be executed. The skull bite technique is anatomically specific. It requires the canine teeth to contact the dorsal cranial surface at the correct angle. A bite to the lateral skull, the jaw, or the neck does not deliver the same mechanical outcome. The jaguar must position itself above and behind the prey's head before the strike. This positioning requirement shapes the entire pre-strike behavioral sequence. Panthera onca is an ambush predator. It does not pursue prey across open ground. It uses the dense vegetation of the Amazon floor as structural cover. Documented approach sequences show the jaguar reducing its movement speed progressively, from a slow walk to a slow stalk to complete stillness, as it closes distance with the target. The final approach phase occurs at a speed that generates no detectable vibration in the leaf litter. The jaguar's paws are heavily padded, and each foot is placed with deliberate weight transfer to avoid snapping vegetation under load. The total final approach phase can last 10 to 20 minutes for a single prey animal. The rosette pattern of the jaguar's coat is not decorative. In the dappled, directionally ambiguous light of the forest floor in late afternoon, the rosettes break the animal's outline into a series of irregular patches. The visual system of most prey animals is tuned to detect movement and continuous edges, the outline of a predator body. The rosette pattern interrupts the continuous edge. Combined with the extremely low movement speed of the final approach, the jaguar does not register as a coherent object in the prey's peripheral vision. It does not materialize in the prey's awareness until it is close enough to strike. For caimans, specifically, the jaguar exploits a behavioral vulnerability. Basking caimans reduce their vigilance significantly during thermoregulation phases. They orient their bodies toward warmth, not toward the most likely threat approach vector. The jaguar approaches from the direction the caiman is facing away from, not by accident, but because consistent observation of caiman behavioral patterns over evolutionary time has calibrated the approach strategy. Apply the full operational sequence of Panthera onca to a human moving through the Amazon. You are navigating through dense forest at dusk, following a trail toward a river camp. The light is low. The trail is narrow. You are watching the ground ahead for roots and holes. You are not watching the heavy shadow to your left, 15 meters away. There is a jaguar there. It has been tracking your pressure wave in the leaf litter for the last 8 minutes. It has been reducing its approach speed progressively since you entered the canopy shadow. It is now in its final approach phase, stationary, watching your movement pattern. The jaguar's documented behavior toward humans is not aggressive predation as a baseline response. Most jaguar-human encounters in the Amazon result in the jaguar withdrawing. Jaguars have a generalized threat assessment protocol. If the potential prey is exhibiting behavior consistent with awareness of the predator typically disengages. The operative variable is awareness. If you know the jaguar is there, and you behave accordingly, maintaining eye contact, moving away slowly, not running, the risk of predatory attack decreases significantly. If you do not know the jaguar is there, you are in the same behavioral category as a basking caiman. The documented cases of fatal jaguar attacks on humans in the Amazon share a consistent profile. The victim was alone. The victim was crouching or prone, positioning the dorsal head and neck as the highest accessible point. The victim did not detect the approach. In those cases, the attack followed the same mechanical protocol as a caiman kill. The initial contact is the killing contact. There is no warning strike. There is no preliminary bite. At 1,500 pounds per square inch and less than 1 second of contact time, the outcome is determined before the victim's pain response reaches conscious processing. The effective countermeasures available in jaguar territory are behavioral, not physical. Never travel alone in confirmed jaguar territory after dusk. Maintain upright posture. Crouching or bending exposes the dorsal skull and cervical spine. Make noise while moving through dense vegetation. The jaguar's ambush protocol requires prey unawareness. If a jaguar is visually detected, maintain direct eye contact, face the animal, and back away slowly. If direct eye contact with a large phalid disrupts the behavioral condition it requires to initiate an attack. Running activates a pursuit instinct that is more dangerous than the initial ambush posture. The jaguar system is calibrated for a prey animal that does not know it is being hunted. The moment you demonstrate that you know, the parameters of the interaction change. Panthera onca represents the Amazon's answer to a specific evolutionary question. How do you build a terrestrial apex predator capable of reliably killing armored, aquatic, and heavily built prey across the widest possible prey range? The answer was not more size. It was not more speed. It was a specific architectural modification to the jaw and skull that concentrated more force into a smaller contact area than any other large cat on Earth, and a targeting protocol that bypassed the body's defenses entirely by going directly for the central nervous system. Every other large felid on Earth evolved to fight the body. The jaguar evolved to end the fight before the body can respond. The throat bite is a war of attrition. The skull bite is a single decision. The jaguar made that decision permanent, encoded in the geometry of its zygomatic arch and the thickness of its canine cross-section. It does not hesitate at the prey's armor, because the armor is not the target. It does not hesitate at the prey's size, because the brainstem does not scale with body mass. A 10-kilogram capybara and an 80-kilogram caiman have brainstems of comparable vulnerability. The jaguar hits the same target regardless. The jaguar does not commit to a strike until the positioning is exactly right. It can wait 20 minutes motionless in heavy shadow for that moment. It needs 15,000 people to commit the same way, hit like before this video moves off the algorithm's active feed, and the top comment decides which Amazon biological system we decode next. Drop your vote below. The jaguar already made its decision. Now make yours. Most predators in this ecosystem give their prey a chance, a moment of awareness, a possibility of escape. The jaguar removed that option from its hunting system entirely. It built a technique so fast that the prey's last sensation is the ambient temperature of the forest. Not pain, not fear, just the forest, and then nothing. Because the decision was already made before the prey ever registered the threat. You are watching Survival Amazon. Survive the logic.